Alright, says we are live here. Just get rid of a couple things that popped up. And let me say we're coming live from Hungary. And Femke and I are on our way to Romania, Mount Busegi or Bucegi. Very important part of this ascension overall and what's occurring. So, I anticipate to be there in the very near future. And let's see what occurs. So, we are day by day with the divine direction and divine plan. For any of you that may be new and don't fully know how we operate, if you will, it's on a day-to-day basis and divine direction. The ascension is ascertained, and by following the prompts that each is given us and including all of you, we get it done quicker and we get through it. And the overall ascension is, yes, it's a tedious job for everyone, if you will, but we all get through it. And thank you, Lorraine. Love to you as well from Scotland. And yeah, so with this, I got mentioned earlier today I was going live, so there was a request from one to ask about peace on earth, and what else did I wrote down there? And about no going back to any of the darkness and any of the old ways. Now, with that is very true. Everything is divinely ascertained. So, even though your journey that each one is on, at times can be very discomfortable, and I like to say that in the past, but your physical vessels are all evolving internally. So there is always a lot going on with them until we get up to the fifth dimensional state of being. I have my friend, if any of you watched the donkey, Tina, and she just broke out again and had to come down to visit us. And I think I hear her outside, but she is a beautiful soul as well, and very important. Um, so, and hey, Kresimer from Croatia, brother. Ah, and Sam from Vienna, too. Nice to see all of you. So, let me get back on track here. I'll ramble for a little bit and, give an update, energetic update on the ascension, and then I'll take questions, from the floor, if you will, and answer those. So the peace on earth, if you will, what we're doing with the overall ascension is we are creating that peace. And there's a lot involved actually in doing that. You know, the biggest thing is we are all conscious co-creators. And that's important to keep in mind. For you have so many conscious themes out there, beliefs and interests that ones are in. And where there are so many, you have so many different paths that are going all at once. And really, there is the one true path forward that takes everyone to the peaceful world in the heaven on earth scenario. So, there's many what I call false narratives. However, what I need to say, all of these false narratives provide value. They are instrumental for one's going to the next step as well. However, at this time, what I do need to say is that, you know, a lot of these false narratives are currently fallen away because they cannot go anywhere. They go to the side, they cannot go forward, and we are at such a point of going forward that they have become like hindrances, obstacles, and anchors that's holding many back from going forward and changing the world. So, what's occurring divinely, these false narratives all are breaking down, if you will, organically. And as they break down, this one path going forward, all of these begin to trickle in and join in. And the rate of that trickling in continues to increase as we go forward. So the other false narratives, there is an expiry date on them when ones realize what they are and that they're not in full alignment with the one true peaceful world. So there is no going back to the old, and everyone that has, reached such a point, for you to even think of going back to the old way, it doesn't resonate and you can feel it because there is no going back. We are going forward. So, right at this point, I didn't want to get too much into GPMS dot world, but it is, let me say, it is the way for everyone to achieve absolute peace, for everyone to get their own power back and stand together as a whole, and to have everyone thriving in abundance, which creates the heaven on earth scenario. Then very quickly all of humanity discovers they don't need money at all, and they advance very quickly forward after that. However, what we are doing uh, with the ascension, because it's a planetary ascension, it's an individual ascension, but there's the planetary aspect that's attached to it. And this is why many that, let's say, have become very enlightened and have advanced their multi dimensional bodies and what have you, they're still here. They cannot go forward because their individual ascension is attached to the planetary ascension. And this is why it's so important that ones realize this and get in alignment with the one thing that fixes everything, essentially. And it's divinely ascertained that they do. It's just that there is not an exact linear time on it when they do. So we are all here to get everyone in alignment upon the planet, every co-creator upon the planet in alignment with the one plan that does it all. And and with the full truth and being openly honest and nothing less than that, the only thing out there that frees humanity fully from the enslavement and puts them into the heaven on earth scenario is GPMS.world. The main problem, as you know, is with the ones that were the leaders, the old leaders, the power regime. Without that being replaced by something new and moral and in alignment with everything good, it doesn't happen. So you cannot leave those old power structures in place, and it's divinely ensured that they do not stay in place. So getting back, it was Allison that had asked, for I to speak on it. The peace on earth is ascertained, and it depends on each co-creator making the choices to get in alignment with the best timeline to do that and keep the focus there. And with us, as many of you will find, that you could not go back, let's say, to a matrix job. Things just would not work, and many of you have been relieved of, most of your material things as well. And it's and that happens for a divine reason, to activate your divine incentive for change. If you were to be in a place of comfort, if you will, you would have no incentive to change anything because you're in a comfortable place. But this whole ascension is divinely ascertained that those ones that need to take a leadership role, if you will, for the other souls, they will be stripped of things, and it depends upon the individual. Everyone is unique, if you will. However, there are groups that have the common themes. So even though you may say each soul is unique, when you step back and you look at all of the commonalities with ones, you'll see that there are common themes. And as you unite worldwide with all of your comrades, your divine comrades, your brothers, your soul brothers and sisters, well, then you come to find out that you're not as unique as you thought, that you actually, all of your script, your life experience there, that you'll even find others had the same identical script. So, you know, there is the uniqueness in the way to how each one also achieves their embodiment and their power. And there are a wide array of tools out there, techniques and modalities. And, and frequently as well, as we keep ascending, there are new tools that come in to assist, to uplift and empower you to the next level. So there is no going back. It's peace on earth. What we're doing is transitioning very rapidly this world that you're on into the heaven on earth scenario. So it's already occurring with, let's say, you're seeing plants grow in deserts, and things are changing, that the planet is getting cleaned up. Restoration to the planet is already organically beginning. As for climate change, we just put that what is occurring with that is that the planet is being divinely acclimatized as we go forward, to allow for a more immediate climate, if you will, a medium climate all over the planet. And there are certain things that's occurring with the planet to facilitate, let's say, a lush and not so arid environment as we go forward. And I don't wish to get too deep into that. However, as conscious co-creators, you know that miracles exist, you know that God exists, and that everything is possible. And there is still that possibility of a flash as well. But what I wish to say, we are in the flash, and we're almost near the end of it. I don't wish to repeat what I had put out, and keep regurgitating a lot of the old. I wish to get with this live just more to some specific points. Now, if anyone has any questions, don't put them in yet, because as you see, I'm busy rambling and getting to some of the points that I wrote down. So just save your questions until I'm done. Thank you. All right, so. And also, another part of Allison's question, she wanted to know how old, this realm really is. Meaning, how far back in history does it go? There's many stories and many narratives. And my answer to that, it doesn't matter how far it goes back. And what I say, don't, for individuals, what I say, don't waste time on looking for answers in the past, or these things that don't take you forward. Meaning that you are here now, and it's here now, the choices that you make that take you forward the quickest. The past doesn't matter. What you look at the past is you learn all of the value, and you've already learned enough from that to know what you don't like. And also, when you look at the past, it is all associated with disharmony, discord, evil, and what have you. And we're not going to regurgitate that. We're not looping in those same misery scenarios. This is it. This is the big thing. We're here creating the heaven on earth. And this is an experience that has never been created before here. And of course, you've never read about it. You might have read about some small scale, but this is the entire planet. This is universal with the planet, but also universal with the multiverse. So this is unprecedented what's occurring. And it's important, don't get caught up in any of the fear narratives from the past with Anunnaki or something like that. Don't get caught up with anything that disempowers you. You are the spark of God. You are omnipotent. You are above any evil. Any evil can only reside in the fourth density. We are now in the fourth, in the fifth density, finishing up the ascension, and by raising the joy level, and this is one of the beautiful things that GPMS does, by raising the joy, it raises the vibration where the evil cannot exist. They cannot exist in a fifth dimensional frequency or vibration. And that's why the divine plan is designed as such for the planetary ascension. With what GPMS is, it frees everyone instantly, puts them in joy, and it raises the vibration. So it's a one thing that fixes all and does it. So it's important the choices you make now and where you put your focus towards. So I suggest for ones, don't waste a lot of time looking in the past. You may find a couple points that you need now to take you forward, but it's more rapid for you to keep your focus on going forward. Know you're connected to Source, to Creator, and follow any narratives and prompts that empower you and that gives you more than hope, that instills the knowing that this ascension is going on, and keep in aligned with that. Keep powering up yourself and others. Unity is how this ascension is occurring. So it also becomes important, keep connected with all your divine comrades and awakened ones, if you will. And the unity is what takes it forward. So the more co-creators we have aligned, again, I got to jump back to GPMS, but the more co-creators we have energetically aligned with it and supporting it, the quicker it happens, because it's an energetic vehicle that is based on truth, integrity, and everything morally uh, righteous and correct for humanity. So having said that, once we have everyone, or enough, not everyone, we don't need that, but we need the powerful co-creators together as the unit, and poof, this also could create a flash. So um, yeah, so I'll just leave it there, see what else I got wrote down. All right. We are now at June 28th. So on June 14th, we entered a very important electrical window that was opened for the alignment of Gaia, of the physical mother vessel here, to align her with galactic alignment to take the planet into a different dimensional space. Now, I'm keeping this as simple as possible. What I wish to say on June 21st, that actually on June 20th, uh, it was done a day prior, that we had successfully aligned the planet Gaia, the physical vessel, with the let's say birthing canal, and aligned with that proper trajectory to let her expedite through the ascension and through the dimensional layers. So everything is aligned, and on June, today is 28, so on June 21st to the 28th, there was like a reconciliation period with energies with Gaia herself, the planet, but also with each individual. So everyone was getting acclimatized and rebalanced to a higher, to get ready to take everything forward another significant notch. And over the last couple days, again, there was clearing of within individuals negativity and fear. Layers had come up again, and it was important that this come up to get cleared, because it does not go forward into this space. Everyone needs to realize that everything has to be cleared here at every level, and it's important. If you've got fear and doubt in you, it comes up to be cleared. If you have tests or some lessons that are divinely necessary in your relationship with your family, in your reality, in your proximal reality, if there's something that is not in alignment with purity, virtue, full trust in God and who you are, if there's something that's not in alignment with that, then the test comes up for you to master. And there's been many tests come up for many over the last few days. However, at this time, it is the 28th, and for the most part, that level of testing in the last few days, we are now at a level where you know what was going on, so that we are shifting forward. So at this point, we are shifting forward. Our sun, our central sun, if you will, is totally involved in this ascension, and it provides the photonic light in the least, but plasma energies and so much more that assists and facilitates this ascension. And having said that, you're seeing when you have your M flares and your X flares, which is most likely possible again because of a beautiful sunspot 3354 has grown, I believe, the last time I looked today, 8 times bigger than the planet, bigger than Gaia in a 24-hour period. Um, so this is going to produce, and already has begun to produce, a higher influx of energetics and photonic light that keeps transitioning and affects the overall reality and individuals. So that is occurring, and it's set up again. I'm looking at my notes there when I go over. So that is all set up. So everything is perfect and in alignment, even though you may see these negative things, feel density. It's all part of going forward. As I said, It's got to be dealt with here and now so that we keep going forward. It cannot go forward. So, everything is divinely ascertained. It's just no one can really give you a linear date on when we're all done, because it's all done as when we have the biggest unity in alignment, if you will, with the right way. Because right now we got everyone, or all, you got groups that are doing this, groups that are doing this. But once we get everyone aligned with the one thing, then whew, it happens very rapidly. So, and everyone's doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. There is no mistakes with any of this, and don't have any stress. Everyone is in their heart, and when you're in your heart, you're acting from your heart. You never do any wrong. And anything that comes up that might look like you made a mistake, what you look at as a mistake. It's only a test and part of your learning for the next level. So you never do any wrong. That's important to know. Now, the activations that Fam and I do in a couple divine groups, and all of you as well, all of these activations are very real. As you can see, from time to time, I'm so busy I put out confirmations, but also at least some of you receive your own confirmations of the effectiveness and the reality of these activations. And having said that, they are, as we go forward, they're having more and more powerful effects at shifting things. And everyone needs to realize we are, with these activations, these are pure light activations upon the planet and connected to all reality. And by doing that with these higher activations, it is pushing uh, any darkness, it is pressuring any darkness, it's also pushing anything negative to the surface very quickly that has to be purged as well. So this is what's occurring. It's this rapid process, light coming down, shining in the dark, breaking it up, and then everyone pitches in, if you will, at transmuting it, eradicating it. Now, it's very important, every one of you, do not give away your consent, do not give away your power to anyone or anything. Do not listen to another unless it's resonating with you as well. And this is so important. You need to be your own beacon of light, standing shoulder to shoulder with all your brothers and sisters as one unit. So it is important that you know your divine ability and your divine strength. And when you stand in your divine strength and authority, where you do not give your consent away to something like an artificial law or something that is immoral, when you do that, you change reality. So it's very important to know your power. And if you're watching this and you don't know what I just said, you begin to test your abilities and to know this. And the more you test them, the more you develop them, the more powerful you become in the most honorable, virtuous way at changing reality. So, again, always test your abilities, test your telepathy, test your healing abilities, and what have you, because all of these divine gifts and abilities that you have, they're becoming actually stronger every day when you are aware that this is going on. And the more attention that you pay and focus on your own abilities, you're going to develop them much quicker, because you're also putting your energetic thought, your focus towards that as a co-creator. So again, don't have any stress and don't have any expectations, because if you have an expectation, that is trying to control the situation, and you need to realize that if you try to control, take everything into your own hands, that by trying to do that, by rushing and not having patience, what you're actually doing is entering into your process negativity. Because when you try to control your advancement to the fullest, then there is that lack of trust between you and Creator, if you will, in the overall divine plan, and the knowing that there is regulate a regulator of the divine plan, meaning that you may be right up to the top with many of your gifts, but you won't be able to go further with them until that divine plan raises up a notch. Then we all go up higher, usually together. So, but in your uh, I'm looking. It's another one of these periods, the last 2-3 days, that the words you want, they just can't grab them. They're not there. But nevertheless, the right words do come. What I need. Um, so yeah, the last few days again, it's been tests for your mastery, and I got wrote here, the lower timelines, they cannot come to fruition. Anything that does not morally support humanity, any narrative that does not fully support humanity and places all equally into full abundance and equality and freedom at the same time, it doesn't work. It's not in alignment. Let's say the truth of the overall ascension is that God did not send a handful of chosen ones here to get a bunch of money to give to the others. It doesn't work that way, and anyone with common sense would know that it's taking all of us. Anyone with that in alignment with the ascension. Now, there's levels of common sense as there's levels of consciousness. However, each one will come to find out eventually and imminently that it takes all coming together to do the one big thing. It's the only way it can be done. And with the remnants of darkness, their monetary system, until that's replaced and the rightful ownership of everything is put in the 99% of the people's hands, nothing changes. You cannot have uh, a looping, you will not have a looping scenario. You will not have any narrative come to fruition where only a few uh, are, let's say, given money, and if they're given money by a government or banks, no, that is false. It is not in alignment with the way forward. So there's lessons and tests for ones to be learned, uh, to sharpen their discernment, and to also understand a lot of the trickery and illusion that was out there also, so that they can make better choices going forward and be more in alignment with what is righteous. So yeah, stand in your power. And let's see, I got a couple other things. 1144 is a very important number sequence, and for various reasons, anyone with numerology or whatever you wish with that, you can derive some significant meanings of it. Um, what I wish to share with you last couple nights, or well, a few nights ago, Femke and I, if you know what fireflies are, they typically come out in June, and in the northern hemisphere at least, and you'll see them with their little lights going, to it's I believe it's the males. They have the light to attract the females in the night, so you see these little lights coming on. With that, where we're at here, uh, there are some fireflies, but there are also some fairies. So there's elementals. They're not all fireflies, and a firefly will be a typically yellow, green glow. But we were so fortunate the other night to see one, let's say, light being elemental fairy, that she was able to change her colors to red and blue and green like the Merkaba, and just so beautiful to see that happen, both of us. So I wanted to share that with you because yes, all of those things, elementals, are very real, and it depends upon the individual with your gifts, if they are attuned to that area, and if your energy is also amplified, and let's say in a purified, amplified state towards that, you will begin to have your interactions with other multi-dimensional beings, in the least, such as fairies. Um, so, one more little thing, and then I'll take some questions. Well, one more big thing, really. This is the most serious, biggest thing ever upon the planet in this ascension. So, with the number of agreements, consents with GPMS, I just checked a little bit ago today. That actual number so far of children, women, and men, if you will, that have chosen to agree with the new free and abundant world of GPMS, we are currently at 47,713. Now, when you look at that, you might not think that that is a significant number, 47,700. First, what you need to look at is that those 47,700 are standing in absolute universal divine law that is fully backed by their unalienable rights and their intrinsic value. They are standing in what is real law. It's real law because it's the innate, it's the intrinsic God-given law of all of your unalienable rights and morality. Now, when you take in the world today, if you're to count up all of the political parties and politicians that are in supposed power, that number comes to about 46,666. 46,666 approximate. With GPMS.world, we have 47,000, so we're about 1,000 more at this time than all of the politicians and governments, that are in power. Now, these politicians and governments that are in power worldwide, they are in power with artificial law. So it's not moral law, it is not godlike law. And one of the reasons why is because of their system that allows the capitalistic system that allows for them to inflict hardship, misery upon humanity to create poverty and, of course, more things than that. But what it is, it causes, because of their monetary system and also their legal fiction, their laws, it actually creates harm. So with this, it becomes actual negative law. If you're to go look up, man-made law or artificial law, they'll say it's positive, but it's not. How can you have a positive law that is actually harming people? So there is no contest between the law or the legal fiction that the governments are using in GPMS. GPMS is absolute God's law. So when you have this based on the intrinsic value and the intrinsic rights of every child, woman, and man, you have 47,000 that are based with the most absolute, supreme law upon the planet. Then you have 46,000 that are still practicing a negative, harmful law. So you can do that quick equation in your head. What is the most powerful upon the planet? And having said that, it is no contest by this 46,000 to what the 47,000 members currently in GPMS is. And you may look at GPMS membership right now may contain about 7,000 children, I'm guessing. But having said this, just one of those children that is in GPMS dot world, because this child is backed by absolute divine law, even this one children is standing in the strongest moral law above all of those politicians. So even with one child, there is no contest against that. So the ones need to understand and realize the full power of what GPMS is. And because of its design, what it does with the darkness money, what they used to buy ones with, it no longer has any value once we also have the majority voice of the people to create the new system. So in actuality, with the governments, with the darkness, everything you're fighting, the ones are fighting worldwide, it's no contest. You don't need to fight that. What you need to do is unite this and you create the new reality. And let's say the old system cannot exist, it implodes by itself. So you don't need to put your effort and energy into their legal fiction, their elections, and all of these things. And of course, war. You don't put your focus on any of that because that comes from fear. And by doing that, what you do is you just prolong your own agony. So the wisest choice is to get in alignment with the unity of the people that are in their heart, do the right thing, and this creates the absolute peace. Getting back to what I said first in this live. So GPMS is the most logical thing as well. It is the divine tool to advance humanity into civility, at least, into a civilized state, out of this savage state currently upon the planet. And when I say savage, it's absolutely ridiculous, preposterous, not acceptable that a worldwide society is using money that is inflicting great harm upon the majority of the people on the planet, when at the same time and in the snap of a fingers, money can be shared equally and comfortably, taking everyone out of harm's way. And if the governments and the banks for the planet actually had the people's and the public's best interest in mind, they would have been doing, or they would have already done, what GPMS does. It places everyone in comfort and freedom. But having said that, it's inevitable what GPMS is doing, and it is sent from Prime Creator, Mother, and God to the planet through I to get on the planet. I am one guardian of it. However, there are so many others, and I know there's some guardians that's watching this tonight, and we are all brothers and sisters to take this to fruition. And having said that, we cannot be killed. We cannot be eliminated from the timelines. And that's important to know. And for that very fact where we cannot be, that's why this is ascertained to take it forward. And I am not the only one that knows this and speaks of this. You'll come, if you haven't already, you will come across more that will tell you they cannot, they were targets of the darkness, they cannot be killed. And against, let's say, incredible or astronomical odds, they know they're still here because they're part of this ascension and mission, if you will, to free humanity. With that, okay, we can take some questions. I've been rambling on long enough. Yeah, that was quite a ramble, 46 minutes. So, any questions, put them in now, and I'll do my best here to answer them. And Mylene Canna says we are protected. Absolutely. Yeah. You're also more protected when you don't have any fear. But if you still have fear, then you're not as, no harm ever comes to anyone. But if you still have fear, then you still have tests that may come up where you need to protect yourself. But the best protection is full trust in God and no fear. That is the absolute protection. But it's easy said, and it's a process to get there for many. All right, any questions? I'll just scroll up, see if there's any. James says there's technology that's been around for more than 50 years that could make everyone sovereign and independent. Yeah, totally. All of these things, actually, 133 years ago, linear years ago, everything was placed upon the planet to advance humanity very quickly forward. But let's say, again, the darkness reneged and did not do what they were supposed to do, and I don't want to go back and get into all of that. But having said that, the light perseveres. We already won. We're playing out the roles here of taking this to fruition. So many of you, many of us have come back in time to get this done. And when you have your deja vu periods, if you will, what you are actually doing is remembering parts of your script. The way I like to put it, and I saw others do it, that when you have deja vu during the day, that means you're in full alignment with the script, that you had written the night before, how you're going to play out your role in the day. But when you have the deja vus, it shows that you're making, let's say, you're in a higher vibration, you're in more alignment with taking things forward, and where you are, then you get some of your memory back because you're more attuned to that higher frequency. So it begins to also give you tidbits of your your memory of more of what you are. And I don't want to I could say a lot more on that. I don't wish to get into that, or I'll be rambling a lot more. I'd like to take some questions. If anyone has those, would be great. Any individual questions, and I'll ask that. Diane Gray asks, what is TMS? If you're referring to the acronym I used, GPMS dot world, GPMS dot world, and go to that website, anyone, uh, and read it. It's the divine plan. If it resonates with you and you're in agreement with creating this new world together with everyone that chooses it, put your consent on there. Share this choice worldwide. It's worldwide, like referendum. The more that we have that consent and choose to this, the quicker we have it done. Ones do not even need to be awake. They do not need to be on their spiritual journey. It's kept logic that it's a worldwide referendum. You have a choice. Do you wish this new world, what's outlined on the website? And if yes, you have a choice to say yes, you agree with it, and to assist with building the voice that brings it into full reality. Okay, I see I have a couple questions. Thanks. Nicole says, we write our day with our dream time. Yeah, I experienced deja vu as well. Yeah, absolutely. Um, Mary Perrant says, were you and Femke able to fully open the portal in the mountain in Hungary? Yes, Mary. Right now, this portal is open, but it was not only Femke and I. It was all, when I put out the live, everyone that contributes to it makes it happen. And yes, there is never a doubt, and there is never a failure with it. It's all ascertained that we do these activations, and as we do them, it unlocks the next level. There is no failure associated with what we're doing. This is all in alignment with the Ascension. It's divinely all ascertained, and incrementally, uh, when the vibration and the planet is ready for it, then we do these activations to let's say, make the base with the new level to allow for certain events to occur before we go, or as we go to the next level, to keep it a little bit simple with that instead of going into it. Yeah, I need to look here. Brother Donovan, good to see you here. I'm gotta get your message opened up. So, Dan, your question, the worldwide total politicians, yeah, perhaps you might be just coming on. I believe I covered that fully. I believe, Dan, I have already covered that to show the power of the individuals, and So I think I already answered that. Okay, just my pain in the left abdomen, bloating and feeling full when not eating. So Debbie asks that. Debbie, there's so many things going on. One of the first things I would look at is your water. Assure that there's no chlorine in your water, that you're not eating any white bread, white flour that has been bleached, any white sugar, anything that's got chlorine in it. But you say you're not eating, but check your water, make sure, because what chlorine will cause bloating once an individual's organic vessel is advanced enough, because everything in your digestive system, all of the old digestive acids and enzymes have changed. They're not like they were before. So some of the things you could tolerate before, it sets off different chemical reactions that can cause all these weird side effects as well. And that's also with the Ascension. As many have discovered, your diet and what you drink is so important. So, and also, another aspect, Debbie, is when we are birthing like new timelines, and especially the feminine that are just so connected to the mother, to the actual sentient aspect of the planet, the physical. And when we are birthing timelines, it does get reflected in certain um, ones that are connected very close with that. They will begin to swell up with their abdomen and have that bloating. I also uh, I'm masculine, but I also, at times, with major timelines being birthed, I will also have that bloating and Femke and I as well. So, it would depend also upon what you're eating in your environment and those sort of things too. So Kate Lightworker says everything she discussed with her partner shows up on videos the following day. And what is this blending of consciousness? Seems we are all getting same info. With that, Kate, so there is the telepathy with the collective consciousness that also is receiving same information as you're saying at the same time. So then you will get a lot of putting out the same information because there's information themes that occur, and you'll see this, but also where your focus goes. And this is important when there is two or more that are in your higher energetics that are awakened. When you have your conscious conversations, again, because of telepathy and we're connected to that light collective, again, it reverberates out and it has an effect to also manifest and to confirm and support, let's say, what you and your partner were thinking about as well. So, so these are a couple things with that. Okay, just some of your questions I may not get because the feed jumps up and down. So I'm just going through here quickly. Petite Norma says, will I ascend? The answer to that is all human souls are ascending, about close to 6 billion. Some are ascending to the fifth dimensional state of being, the heaven on earth scenario, and some others are going further beyond that with the physical vessel intact. There are very few human souls that are ascending through the death process, but either way, it is the full on ascension no matter what occurs. So every human soul ascends. The darkness, the evil, the minions, the clones, they are unable to ascend for several several reasons. They cannot go forward into the higher dimensions. So without complicating that right at this time. Distilled water is great, Mylene. But what I suggest is the minerals in water also is so important. So if anyone is doing distilled water, I suggest, if it's your first times using and drinking it, yeah, a month at a time, but it's good to have a mixture of good natural spring water in there, or 2 weeks at a time, and then some good spring water. It's important not to uh, drink it continuously, like for a couple years or so. You should have a break in there. Do it intermittently. Mix some good spring water in there. That's what I suggest. Excuse me. Sharon asks, will Devil's Tower in USA activate soon? No, 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 no. If any of that does, it's not the Devil's Tower. Let's say it could be God's Tower or something like that. Nothing dark activates. This everything occurring with Ascension is the light is in full control, and with that, it's all ascertained. So there is no dark portals, no dark activations. There is no mistakes. None of that gets activated. And if you had heard any of that anywhere, it's dark with their trickery and their misinformation. They interject in there to try to confuse the whole human souls to believe it and create it for them. So no, anything that disempowers or makes it look like, the darkness is the big things. Don't look at any of that, because instantly it's not giving you your full empowerment of what you are, and it is tricked and designed to disempower you, for you to give your power away to, oh, look what they are doing. So don't get caught up in that. You are the co-creators. You are the powerful ones. It doesn't matter what they do. You are the majority, and you have the omnipotence, the miraculous power of God when you're in alignment with that, which the darkness doesn't have. The darkness are the fallen ones. They fell for a reason, if you will. They cannot go forward because they never really were a part of heaven. That is a trick. You can put the label fallen ones, but they never really fell from anywheres. They were always here. It's just that humanity and the human souls, if you will, fell down in here. And it's the human souls that are going forward, that are ascending. Thank you. Uh, Tim says, what is your take on hazy chemical smelling skies currently over USA? MSM says it's Canada fires. Let me say, there still is that resistance out there of darkness and evil they attempt all of these things. Although it is in vain, it's in vain everything they attempt, because there is the direct divine intervention to ensure and ascertain this overall ascension. But also at the same time, it's important for those that are, um, let's say, awakening or not awakened, to see how devious, if you will, the darkness actually is at attempting to do things. So when you look at the fires, like you're saying, the fires, with without going, too deep into that, there's a lot of information out there about how the fire started, and it's important to know that um, yes, there was a nefarious intent involved in that, and again, there's many whistleblowers out there that can attest on that level to what I'm saying. So again, yeah, with your breathing, yeah, don't be breathing in that smoke and chemical um, chemical toxins as well. Don't do your best to keep your breathing, but trust in yourself, and trust in God, and that puts you in different places where you are not at as much risk, you're not at harm with that. Your question, Tim, is what I am doing here is like there's two timelines going on, and I'm uh, giving perspectives from both, and I'm kind of mixing them together. However, the main thing is always choose the highest trust in God, and that is the highest way to get anyone, any soul, and every soul through it. Where are we at here? And Pamela says, yeah, prayers, for protection. Prayers always for divine assistance and support. And what I need to say, the angelic realms are here. Uh, Even the galactics are very real, and all of the light beings. And if any of you that's watching, if you ever need some support and assistance from the angelic realms, speak out loud when you ask for that. And that way you will see that it's very real, that you are supported when you need it. So that is important. If you need divine assistance, you speak out loud, and speak, divine assistance. And if you use an archangel element or an angel element, it's always great when you're speaking out loud to say, like, Archangel Michael of the light as well. And there are reasons for doing that, but it's good to uh, refine and define exactly what you're putting out into the universe, and the assistance is there. And the more that you trust that it's there, the more you're going to confirm and see that it's actually real, that it is there. Mylene is asking about Highland Spring. I think, I can't remember, but I think that is in the UK or Scotland, is a good water. Um, but you're also asking with the springs, doesn't the water need to be cleaned because of the spraying in the skies? Uh, the best place to get the water is from a underground stream, if you will, that comes out on a hill with nothing built above it. And what you like to have, if you're getting it from a natural stream, uh, look at the coloration of your rocks. If they're all good and white and a light color, then that water is good. But if you see some yellow staining or even rust color staining on the rocks, it's better to avoid that, because if you start seeing yellow staining, it's a sulfur content, and if you see the rust color, that is iron. But what occurs with that, as it begins to oxidize and break down the iron, if you will, it's quite common to have arsenic and elevated sulfide levels in that water, which are not good for the physical vessel. So one needs to be conscientious when you're getting spring water to look at the rocks and also the coloration of the water. You know, it should be pure looking water, clear water as well. And make sure nothing's up above it. No house with a sewage system or what have you, because then you get contaminants that come into the water. There are microorganisms and pathogens that if you have what you call a field bed with houses in, let's say, some rural areas. Well, there is from that field bed that goes into the water table in the ground and into the water, nearest water table. There are pathogens and microorganisms that could be coming from that waste. So you don't want to be getting water from anything really that has anything built up above it. You want a mountain where nothing's at, or you want good trees that you know that nothing is built directly above that stream that could be contaminating it. Nicole's asking, can the water be filtered with crystals? You know, there is structured water, and which uses vibration and crystals and other sort of things. You know, that does have a good effect, and there are also newer technologies at water purifiers that are coming out, and certain filters. But again, you need to be meticulous with what you are getting, and what I suggest, instead of having to go through a lot of trial and error at seeing what filters work and work the best, I'd say go and find a very good stream like I just described. Um, with any water, at getting the microorganisms and the pathogens also out of it, for the microorganisms that could be contaminants for your vessel. Ultra blue technology was some of the best to do that. But nevertheless, I don't like complicating things, so keep it simple. Get your water from a good source rather than going through using filters and these sort of things. And especially if you got chlorinated water, remember that some chlorine does get through the filters. And so keep that simple. I'm soon going to end this. I'll see if there's any other Any other questions before I wrap this up? And Donovan, like I believe I explained that out again about the politicians and the elitists if you add them all together. But what I need to say is the uh, the 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 elitists and everything all combined is less than a million. It's less than 500,000, which is relatively uh, nothing to 6 billion again. So it doesn't matter how you really look at the numbers. The war is over, if you will, and it's just everyone accepting and choosing the win with GPMS. And as soon as we have the majority that chooses the win, it's all done. There's no fighting. There's no need to attempt to get justice in their systems. Their systems are not designed to deliver any real justice. Their systems are designed to um, keep the evil's way and their control intact. So there is no justice within their system, and it becomes frivolous and a waste of time even to attempt it. It's designed to financially burden, to dissuade, to disempower. It's not in your favor, and it's a waste of time if you keep trying within their systems. It just constantly drains. All right, I'll just have a look. Any more questions? Robbie McCants asks, can you share how you ascended? Asking I. Many of us, I think it was Robbie, have already ascended. We are back here. Uh, let's see, very few perhaps with the full knowledge that they had already ascended, and we incarnated back here for this very important time. So that would depend your answer on an individual uh, basis on what that would be. So, so also without getting lengthy, this is only my third time incarnated uh, in a humanoid vessel. I only come here at important times, and I needed to be here at this important time. So I have already uh, ascended, and again, this my divine uh, authority and divine being of what I am is already down and embodied within I. So, with ascended ones, what I wish to say is there are many ascended souls here, but they are still um, disguised from themselves, if you will, and that's the way that it worked. If we were here um, in our incarnations, knowing from day one that we were an ascended one, that we had already ascended, it would change everything that you would do here, and you would not even be able to really be in this dimension. To be in this dimension, it takes in the past quite a bit. I don't wish to get more into this now because I was getting ready to wrap this up, but an excellent question, and perhaps I should do a full live on that in the future. And if I do, I'd love to have other Ascendant Masters come in as well and contribute. We'll see what happens with that. Ah, you're welcome, brother Dan. So, with this overall, I'm gonna soon wrap this up. I wanted to, touch base with everyone again and give as much information as I can. But with that, we're just constantly in the past busy every day doing energetic activations, interacting with ones and everything we divinely do. And, before it was quite regular, I would do lives, but it's just because also we've become so busy and this most auspicious, glorious time of everything speeding up that, we work divinely, Femke and I, from pretty much the time we get up until we lay these physical vessels down every night. Um, and so there is a lot good things are happening and things are getting in alignment. We see it speeding up. Um, so everything is going well with that, and I wanted to share that um, with everyone, and so that's great. All right, I think my donkey friend out there, Tina, I hear her. She might be eating her cushion. Got to go out and see what she is doing. So with that, love, light, gratitude, and everything is fine. We got it all, and yeah, make your best choices, your best choices for alignment and empowerment, and we'll take everything forward very quickly. So check out the gpms.world um, website. I believe it's in the pinned comment on this live. I think it's there. If not, someone will put it in. We'll put it in the comments. And with that, so thank you all for your uh, financial support and your contributions. And I think I gotta go out. So it's great. So love, light, and gratitude, and have a beautiful evening.